Hello, hello, all you beautiful and lovely souls. Okay, so today we're going to be doing Ezekiel. And I'm sitting about halfway through, so it's going to be broken up into two parts. So far, what I've gotten out of Ezekiel is that the land is a feminine energy. And I could see that because the earth is very nurturing. The earth is what takes care of us. I mean, as far as the earth being something that has persuaded or taken advantage of her accolades, that's the part that I'm a little confused about because I feel like it's an individual's response to or of individual's responsibility to present themselves in such a way that represents who you are. Now, if you're going to behave in such a way, you're going to be treated in such a way. That is a given. And depending on the type of attention that you want, you need to be conscientious of that. If you want to be known as someone who can be walked all over, you're going to continue to not recognize the patterns and allow that to happen in your life. Yes, it's a little lonely, but what's wrong with being alone? In my personal opinion, I would much rather be alone than be in a situation where I'm being disrespected. And whether that be slights from friends, whether that be a man trying to assume his position in my life, I would much rather be alone because there is willingly given and unwillingly assumed. So, as I was reading through this chapter, so there is, what's his name again? Oh, yeah, we're talking about Ezekiel. Okay. So he's going to perish, or not perish. He has to, for Israel's abominations. He is guided to lay and eat for all the abominations of Israel. Now, I'm not really sure what that's a reference of, but I'm sure that's some kind of symbolism there. And I highlighted one thing in here. So, chapter 13, verse 15. Thus I will accomplish my wrath on the wall of and on those who have plastered it with untampered mortar. And I will say to you, the wall is no more, nor those who plastered it. That is, the prophets of Israel who prophesy concerning Jerusalem and who see visions of peace for her when there is no peace. So I believe this is just coming to me now. It's the way that the people interact within that land. And the land doesn't represent that. The nurturing, the behaviors of the people have taken over and they have let their super ego take over their actual self. We all have a super ego, or not a super ego. We all have an ego. That's how we get through school. That's how we get through life in the beginning stages of our life. We need that to kind of balance ourselves out so that we can learn who we are without completely having a psyche fracture or psyche break. And that's completely okay. But when you give your whole self to your super ego and then you lose your heart, that's where things start to go wrong because you're not your ego, you're your heart. And if you want to deny that part of yourself, that's when you start fulfilling an identity that you're not. So, chapter 20, people of Egypt, not from God, just because the way that he's referencing them. Uh, what I got from it was when he presented to them, when he presented them with an oath, all God was trying to say to them is, while you're here, I will not lead you astray. Put your other idols to rest so I can show you how to lead with your heart. So I can show you what it means to lead with your heart. There is a way of life here on earth. And if you're going to put your idols before that, you're not going to be able to, we're not going to save this planet. This planet is something that has life. The only reason why we're here to fight with each other is because of this planet. This is a little bit backwards in my head because if people, we have the ability to argue with each other. Right. The only reason you can argue with each other is because we have this planet. So at what point do you just kind of see that the arguing is, what are you accomplishing? Where are you going with it? You know, people trigger each other. That is a common thing that happens. But ultimately, what you do with that trigger, that's how you take your power back. If someone wants to come at you and tell you everything you are and you want to react to it, you're giving them that power. You know, someone could call me whatever the hell they want to. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to laugh or giggle to myself. I'll chuckle because, like, I know who I am. I don't need to prove it. However, I want, not only do I want the best for myself, I want the best for anyone else across from me or anyone else that I speak to, whether that be someone in a high place or a low place. You know, coming from the underworld, people in low places are some of the most kind and most giving people. They will give you the shirt off your back, their back. They will give you the shirt off their back if they can. And that's where I kind of break down the character development, right? People's character changes on their circumstances. So it doesn't, I don't judge people based off of what they do. I'm assessing the whole situation. When does their character shift? What makes them a good person? What makes them a bad person? What is their triggers that makes them feel like they're being attacked, hence why they need to attack back, right? So I mean, if we have a little bit more compassion and we can notice those things about people, there would be a lot less fighting because when we see that emotional reaction, we can say, hey, like, I didn't mean to approach it this way. I'm sorry if I made you feel this way. Please let me re-choose my words. Someone is going to hear you out. And maybe if you have a little bit more compassion for yourself when you get triggered and you understand how your triggers work, when you can understand your own and how you're processing, you can understand how other people are doing it. And then you don't take it so personal because you've taken yourself personal for so long. And when you stop doing that and you really start to see, like, wow, how is this triggering me? What does this actually mean to me? And this statement, when it's said like this, it makes me feel this way. But where does that come from inside of me? Where do I feel like I'm less than? So there is a statement in Ezekiel as well. Careful to observe my judgments. God's judgments is going to be done through your interactions. How you interact with other people, how people interact with you. The judgments are how you feel inside. Not only are they how you feel, it's how other people feel. And if you just want to say nothing and just let those flights that bug you inside go because it's your family, you're going to resent them and you're going to hate them. And that's not love. That's not family. That's not vulnerability. That's not true companionship and trust. So think about, you may not be able to change what's happened in the past, but you can definitely change how you proceed forward. And when you change how you proceed forward, you got to be prepared for other people not knowing how to handle that. So accepting that and embracing that and being that solid mountain and that rock for them to be their imperfect selves. builds bonds that are unbreakable. And I love that about being human. I absolutely love that. So that's what I got out of Ezekiel, the first half. So I'm on chapter 24. And on the next one, you guys, till then, peace and love. Bye.